Do you think you know what it means to live in fear?
Oh my God, they have guns. Jesus.
Go.
No.
That's right, you probably don't. Not real fear, at least. Let me tell you a story of 3 individuals whose commonality was their virality as TikTokers or social media influencers. Their only crime, however, was being in societies heavily controlled by the plague that are the Mexican drug cartels. This is their story of how they tried to navigate a very scary environment only to end up murdered in some of the most horrific ways possible. Leslie Ann Pamela Montenegro. It all began in the vibrant city of Acapulco, where a young woman named Pamela Montenegro, or Pamica Montenegro, would rise to fame under the guise of Nana Pelucas. With her distinctive wig and glasses, she became a beloved figure in the social media space, captivating audiences with her comedic commentary on local events. Little did she know that her journey to stardom would lead her down a treacherous path, one that would ultimately cost her life. Montenegro's journey into the world of social media started innocently enough. She'd always possessed a sharp wit and a knack for storytelling, and it wasn't long before her videos began to gain traction. Her chatty and comedic style resonated with viewers who eagerly awaited her next upload. As her popularity grew, so did the attention she garnered from various corners of Acapulco. But it wasn't just adoring fans who took notice of Nana Pelucas. The drug cartels, who operated with impunity in the city, were not amused by Montenegro's fearless commentary on their activities. One of such cartels was the Independent Cartel of Acapulco. The Independent Cartel of Acapulco, or CIDA, emerged as a splinter group of the once powerful Beltran-Leyva cartel. This criminal organization rose to prominence during the decentralization of Mexico's drug trafficking organizations, leaving a trail of violence and fear in its wake. Acapulco, once a popular tourist destination, became a battleground for control among rival cartels. The Beltran-Leyva cartel had long held sway in the city, but their dominance was shattered when their top boss, Arturo Beltran-Leyva, was killed by the Mexican military in 2009. With Arturo's demise, a power struggle ensued, pitting his brother, Hector Beltran-Leyva, against Edgar Valdez Villarreal, Arturo's right-hand man. Hector Beltran-Leyva, fueled by a thirst for power and vengeance, took control of one faction of the cartel and declared war on Valdez Villarreal. The streets of Acapulco became a battleground as these two ruthless leaders fought for supremacy, leaving a trail of bloodshed and destruction in their wake. Valdez Villarreal, realizing the need for a successor, attempted to appoint a new leader to maintain control over the Acapulco faction. However, his plans were shattered when the group broke away, forming their own gang, the Independent Cartel of Acapulco. This splintering of the cartel gave birth to a new era of violence and chaos in the city. The Independent Cartel of Acapulco wasted no time in making their presence known. They quickly gained a reputation for their brutal tactics, instilling fear in their rivals and the community at large. Their signature method of flaying the faces of their victims and displaying them on car seats sent a chilling message throughout Acapulco. But their reign of terror didn't stop there. The Independent Cartel of Acapulco also engaged in the extortion of taxi drivers, forcing them to pay protection money and threatening them to avoid rival territories. Their grip on the city tightened as they established themselves as a formidable force in the drug trade. Acapulco's appeal to drug traffickers lies in its corruption, long coastline, and high boat traffic, making it an ideal location for illicit operations. The Independent Cartel of Acapulco exploited these factors, solidifying their control over the city and spreading fear throughout the community. But as we will soon discover, the rise of the Independent Cartel of Acapulco was just the beginning of a larger story. Their brutal tactics and thirst for power would ultimately lead to their downfall, as rival gangs and larger cartels sought to seize control of Acapulco's lucrative drug trade, plunging the place into further violence, the same violence that Pamela Montenegro was preaching against. You see, as the Independent Cartel of Acapulco solidified its grip on Acapulco, internal conflicts began to tear the organization apart. The once unified cartel quickly splintered, giving rise to a rival gang that would become a force to be reckoned with, La Barradora. La Barradora, meaning the sweeper, emerged from the ashes of the Independent Cartel of Acapulco, led by a group of former members who sought to establish their own dominance in the city. This new gang wasted no time in making their presence felt, challenging the weakened Independent Cartel of Acapulco for control over Acapulco's lucrative drug trade. The emergence of La Barradora marked a turning point in the power dynamics of Acapulco's criminal underworld. With the Independent Cartel of Acapulco weakened by internal strife, La Barradora saw an opportunity to rise to the top. They aligned themselves with the powerful Sinaloa cartel, gaining the support and resources needed to challenge their rivals. The alliance with the Sinaloa cartel gave La Barradora a significant advantage. They were able to expand their operations, establish new drug routes, and solidify their control over Acapulco. The city became a battleground as the two rival gangs clashed, each vying for supremacy and control over the lucrative drug trade that flowed through Acapulco's corrupt veins. Montenegro's videos, where she fearlessly discussed the inner workings of the drug gangs, struck a nerve with the cartel members. They saw her as a threat, someone who could potentially expose their operations to the world. And in a world where silence was enforced through violence, they were not about to let that happen. As Montenegro's subscriber count skyrocketed, so did the danger she faced. The drug cartels were growing increasingly desperate to silence her, to protect their illicit operations from the prying eyes of the world, and they would stop at nothing to achieve their goal. In the wake of Pamica Montenegro's tragic death, the city of Acapulco was left reeling. The loss of Nana Pelucas, a fearless YouTuber who had dared to challenge the drug cartels, sent shockwaves through the community. But as the dust settled, the search for justice began. Chief Prosecutor Xavier Olea wasted no time in launching a thorough investigation into Montenegro's killing. His office was determined to uncover the truth, to unmask those responsible for silencing a voice that had become a beacon of hope for many. In a press conference, Olea revealed that the killing was allegedly ordered by Javi Daniel Cervantes, a former member of the Acapulco cartel. Cervantes, known for his ruthless tactics, had reportedly taken offense to Montenegro's videos, which exposed the inner workings of the drug gangs. Cervantes, a shadowy figure who operated in the underbelly of Acapulco, had a reputation for eliminating anyone who posed a threat to the cartel's operations. Montenegro had become a thorn in his side, a symbol of resistance that needed to be eradicated. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that Montenegro's murder was not a random act of violence. It was a calculated hit, orchestrated by those who sought to protect their criminal enterprises from the prying eyes of the world. The crime scene itself provided crucial evidence that would help piece together the puzzle. Forensic experts meticulously combed through the restaurant where Montenegro was killed, searching for any clues that could lead them to the perpetrators. Meanwhile, witnesses were interviewed, their testimonies shedding light on the events that unfolded that fateful day. Their accounts painted a chilling picture of the gunmen storming into the restaurant, their faces masked by darkness and their intentions clear. The investigation took a surprising turn when it was revealed that an Acapulco government employee with connections to the gang that killed Montenegro had also threatened her. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community, raising questions about the extent of corruption within the city. The involvement of a government employee added another layer of complexity to the case. It raised suspicions of collusion between the cartels and those in positions of power, further highlighting the challenges faced by those seeking justice in a city plagued by violence and corruption. El Pirata de Culiacan. In the vast world of social media, where fame can be achieved with just a click of a button, there are those who rise to stardom in the most unconventional ways. One such individual was Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales, a young man from the Mexican state of Sinaloa, who would become known to the world as El Pirata de Culiacan, or the Pirate of Culiacan. Lagunas' journey to fame began in his adopted town of Culiacan, where he had moved at the age of 15. Working odd jobs, including washing cars, Lagunas found solace in the world of social media. It was here that he discovered his talent for capturing attention, and he soon started posting videos of his wild and excessive drinking escapades. Lagunas' videos quickly gained traction, as viewers were both shocked and entertained by his audacious behavior. With each video, his following grew, and soon he became a viral sensation. At just 17 years old, Lagunas had amassed over 1 million followers on Facebook and more than 300,000 on Instagram. His baby face, combined with his belligerent and clownish demeanor, captivated the masses. Lagunas became a larger-than-life figure, drawing people in with his outrageous antics. But behind the facade of a carefree partygoer, there was a young boy who yearned for recognition and validation. Lagunas' desire for fame led him to push boundaries and take risks. He drew a beard on his chin to appear older, and his arms became a canvas for tattoos, including a pirate and a tiger. His Instagram feed showcased a life of excess, with images of him posing with large guns, half-naked women, and luxury cars. Lagunas lived as if he was invincible, disregarding the drinking age and saying whatever he pleased about anyone. It was all part of the game, the party that seemed to have no end. But little did he know that in the violent state of Sinaloa, where cartels ruled with an iron fist, no one is truly invincible. In one of his recent videos, Lagunas crossed a line that would prove to be fatal. In a seemingly intoxicated state, he took a stab at Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, one of Mexico's most dangerous drug lords. El Mencho, the leader of the New Generation Cartel of Jalisco, was not a man to be trifled with. The New Generation Cartel, a rising force in the world of organized crime, had quickly gained power and influence. Involved in various criminal activities, including gun trafficking, fuel theft, extortion, and kidnapping. They had forged connections in the criminal underworld, both in Mexico and beyond. Lagunas's insult towards El Mencho was a grave mistake, one that would have dire consequences. As his fame continued to soar, he unknowingly attracted the attention of dangerous individuals who saw his audacity as a direct challenge to their authority. And so, the stage was set for a tragic turn of events. Lagunas's life would be cut short, his dreams of fame and success shattered in an instant. The story of El Pirata de Culiacan serves as a chilling reminder of the dark side of social media fame and the harsh realities that exist beyond the screen. Sinaloa, the Mexican state where Lagunas was born and raised, has long been a mecca for cartels and the land of notorious drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. It is a place where power is measured in bloodshed, and rivalries between cartels can escalate into full-blown wars. Lagunas, in his pursuit of fame and recognition, unwittingly stepped into this dangerous territory. His insult towards Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, leader of the new generation cartel of Jalisco, was a direct challenge to one of Mexico's most feared and dangerous drug lords. The new generation cartel, relatively new in the world of organized crime, emerged over a decade ago from the remnants of the Milenio cartel. They quickly rose to power, engaging in various criminal activities to amass wealth and influence. The cartel's operations extend far beyond Mexico's borders, forging ties with criminal organizations around the globe. Their rise to prominence has been marked by a trail of violence and bloodshed as they fight for control over lucrative drug routes and criminal enterprises. Lagunas's insult towards El Mencho was a direct affront to the cartel's authority. In a world where respect and fear are currency, such provocations are met with swift and brutal consequences. The cartel could not allow Lagunas's audacity to go unpunished, and they set out to make an example of him. Lagunas, caught in the crosshairs of a powerful and ruthless organization, had unknowingly signed his own death warrant. In a chilling display of their power, armed men stormed into a bar in Jalisco, where Lagunas was enjoying a night out, and gunned him down in cold blood. The killing of El Pirata de Culiacan sent shockwaves through Mexico and the world. It was a stark reminder of the brutal reality that exists in a country plagued by violence and drug-related crime. In the first 10 months of 2017 alone, there were 20,878 reported murders nationwide, averaging to 69 murders per day. The tragic death of Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales, known as El Pirata de Culiacan, sent shockwaves through the world of social media and beyond. As news of his killing spread, it sparked a wave of reactions and discussions about the dangers of seeking fame in a world where violence and organized crime loom large. Lagunas's death was not just the end of a young life, but the beginning of a new chapter in the fight against organized crime. It served as a wake-up call for both social media influencers and society as a whole, highlighting the risks and consequences of reckless behavior and audacious insults. Activists and critics condemned the musicians, bands, and promoters who featured Lagunas in their music videos, arguing that they had encouraged his dangerous behavior and promoted the alcoholism of a minor. They called for greater responsibility and accountability in the entertainment industry, urging artists to consider the impact of their actions on impressionable young minds. Lagunas's story also shed light on the power of social media and its ability to catapult individuals to fame, even in the most unconventional ways. His rise to stardom, fueled by his outrageous videos and audacious persona, demonstrated the influence and reach of platforms like YouTube and Instagram. Lagunas's death brought attention to the dark side of social media fame, where the pursuit of likes and followers can lead to dangerous situations and attract the attention of dangerous individuals. It served as a reminder that behind the screen, there are real-world consequences that can be devastating. Lagunas's killing also had a profound impact on the fight against organized crime in Mexico. It highlighted the ongoing battle between law enforcement agencies and drug cartels, as well as the urgent need for greater security and justice in the country. His death became a symbol of the violence and bloodshed that plagues Mexico, a country where cartels operate with impunity and the murder rate continues to rise. It fueled calls for stronger measures to combat organized crime and protect the lives of innocent people caught in the crossfire. This story also prompted reflection on the root causes of violence and crime in Mexico. It raised questions about the socio-economic factors that contribute to the rise of cartels and the lack of opportunities for young people like Lagunas, who often turn to illicit activities in search of a better life. Lagunas's death served as a stark reminder that the fight against organized crime is not just the responsibility of law enforcement agencies, but of society as a whole. It called for unity and collective action to address the underlying issues that fuel the cycle of violence and create a safer future for the next generation. As we reflect on the life and death of El Pirata de Culiacan, let us remember the lessons learned from his tragic story. Let us strive for a society where audacity and recklessness are not celebrated, but where responsibility transparency and accountability prevail, and let us work together to build a world where no one has to pay the ultimate price for seeking fame or challenging the status quo. La Flaca. La Flaca was a suspected assassin of the Gulf Cartel, and her life and death were marked by violence and mystery. Her slim body earned her the nickname, which also references a female skeleton saint venerated in Mexico. La Flaca gained notoriety when a picture of her posing with a firearm went viral on social media. These days, narco TikToks and the like are very common, and La Flaca's picture was no exception. Perhaps what struck people about this image was how young and tender she looked. She looks far more timid than all the people we've mentioned so far. However, out of everyone here, she's the only one who's an actual cartel member. As a foot soldier for the Gulf Cartel, she fought against rival factions, risking her life in the brutal drug war. However, her story took a dark turn when she was found dead, dismembered, and tortured, along with 2 other members of her faction. Her death was attributed to a rival faction within the cartel. Join us as we delve into the shocking details of La Flaca's life and death, shedding light on the violence and danger associated with the Mexican drug war. La Flaca's journey into the dark world of the Mexican drug cartels began long before she gained notoriety as a suspected assassin. Born and raised in a small town in Mexico, Jocelyn Alejandra Niño had a difficult upbringing. Growing up in poverty, she faced many challenges that shaped her future path. From a young age, La Flaca was known for her striking beauty. Her slim figure and captivating looks made her stand out in the crowd. Unfortunately, it was this very appearance that would later catch the attention of the Gulf Cartel, one of the most powerful criminal organizations in Mexico. As La Flaca entered her teenage years, she found herself drawn into a world of crime and violence. The allure of money and power proved too tempting to resist. It was during this time that she caught the eye of the Gulf Cartel recruiters, who saw in her the potential for a valuable asset. The cartel's recruitment tactics were cunning and manipulative. They often targeted young women like La Flaca, exploiting their vulnerabilities and dreams of a better life. At first, she was lured in with promises of wealth and status. The cartel offered her a way out of poverty, a chance to escape the hardships she had known all her life. Initially, La Flaca would have probably been used as a lookout, keeping an eye out for rival factions and law enforcement. As with women like her beauty and charm made her the perfect candidate for this role. She would blend into the crowd, seemingly innocent and inconspicuous, while secretly gathering information for the cartel. But as time went on, La Flaca's involvement with the cartel deepened. She was soon introduced to the world of prostitution, a common tactic used by organized crime groups to control and manipulate women. It was a dark and dangerous path, but one that she felt she had no choice but to follow. As La Flaca became more entangled in the cartel's web, her role evolved once again. She was promoted to the rank of foot soldier, tasked with carrying out the cartel's orders and eliminating any threats to their operations. Her slim body and unassuming appearance made her the perfect assassin, able to blend in and strike without raising suspicion. The Gulf Cartel became La Flaca's new family, her loyalty unwavering. She fought fiercely against rival factions, risking her life on a daily basis. The violence and brutality of the drug war became her reality, a constant reminder of the dangers she faced. But as La Flaca's reputation grew, so did the attention from law enforcement agencies. Her involvement in the cartel's activities made her a prime target for arrest. She became a wanted woman, constantly on the run, always looking over her shoulder. Despite the risks and the toll it took on her, La Flaca remained committed to the cartel. The allure of power and the promise of a better life kept her in their grasp. She believed that her loyalty would be rewarded, that she would eventually rise through the ranks and achieve the status she had always dreamed of. Little did she know that her fate would take a tragic turn. The details of La Flaca's life and her ultimate demise are shrouded in darkness and mystery. But one thing is certain, her story serves as a chilling reminder of the violence and danger that permeate the Mexican drug war. As La Flaca's loyalty and dedication to the Gulf Cartel became evident, she began to rise through the ranks of the criminal organization. Her slim body and unassuming appearance masked a fierce determination and a deadly skill set. She became a force to be reckoned with in the violent drug war that ravaged Mexico. With each successful mission, La Flaca's reputation grew. She became known for her ruthlessness and efficiency, leaving a trail of bloodshed in her wake. Her involvement in the cartel's operations extended beyond mere foot soldier duties. She was now a trusted enforcer, carrying out the cartel's orders with precision and brutality. But as La Flaca's power within the Gulf Cartel increased, so did the dangers she faced. Rival factions and law enforcement agencies were constantly on her trail, seeking to bring her down. The violence and bloodshed that surrounded her became a constant presence, a reminder of the deadly game she was playing. In the midst of the chaos, La Flaca formed her own faction within the Gulf Cartel, known as Los Ciclones. She handpicked a group of loyal and skilled individuals who shared her vision and determination. Together, they became a formidable formidable force, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. Under La Flaca's leadership, Los Ciclones carried out daring and audacious attacks on rival factions. They became known for their strategic planning and their ability to outmaneuver their adversaries. The violence escalated, and the body count continued to rise. But as the power struggle within the Gulf Cartel intensified, so did the internal conflicts within Los Ciclones. Egos clashed, alliances shifted, and trust became a rare commodity. The once united faction began to fracture, threatening to tear apart the very foundation that La Flaca had built. Amidst the chaos, whispers of betrayal and treachery filled the air. It was rumored that members of Los Ciclones were plotting against La Flaca, seeking to seize control for themselves. The tension within the faction reached a boiling point, and it was only a matter of time before the violence spilled over. And then, one fateful day, tragedy struck. La Flaca and 2 other members of Los Ciclones were found dead, their bodies dismembered and tortured. The brutality of their deaths sent shockwaves through the criminal underworld and the wider community. The once feared leader of Los Ciclones had fallen victim to the very violence she had perpetuated. The blame for La Flaca's death was attributed to Los Metros, a rival faction within the Gulf Cartel. The exact motives behind the attack remain unclear, but it was believed to be a result of internal power struggles and territorial disputes. The drug war claimed yet another victim, leaving a void in the criminal landscape. The death of La Flaca marked the end of an era, but her legacy lived on. Her story served as a chilling reminder of the dangers and consequences of a life immersed in the Mexican drug war. It shed light on the ruthless nature of the cartels and the violence that permeated every aspect of their operations.